Hi, I'm Lou, another episode of My Car Story. I'm here with John Gastman. John,
hey
good to
Lou,
see you.
glad to see you again.
Owner of Roanoke Motors in Roanoke, Illinois. And let me get behind the camera as I usually do. And John's personal cars are always a treat. And he's provided me one of my dream cars, and here is another dream car. John, what do we have?
This is a 1968 Plymouth Road Runner. Actually, it's got 7,700 miles on it. And the claim to fame, this is the one that run in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Get a little closer to tell me these details
Kentucky
now.
In 1987 against the
Little
Big
closer.
Grand National, and for a grudge race and won 2 out of 3 times.
This is the
And
car.
This is the car.
So this has been in their magazines.
Yeah, it has several magazines, and we redid that race for ESPN back at Bowling Green. I took it down. We raced it in 1997 and did the recreation of that same race, and we beat him again 2 times.
Look at that.
This is a cheapest road runner you can get. It has 2 options. One is the engine, the Hemi, and the other is a tachometer. It's got rubber floor mats, no carpets, just the way it's set in the showroom floor. I was very fortunate to trade this in for a 1995 Viper, along with a 93 Viper for a new Viper. But anyway, long story short, it's a customer of mine. He said, hey, you want to buy a Hemi car? I got this from a guy out of New York, and he says,
let's get a whole side of the back.
okay,
Side
that
of this
work?
car. Keep going.
And I said, sure, I'll go out and look at it. And this down in Memphis, Tennessee, and I thought, what the heck, I'll take a shot at it. Yeah, I don't have a title, but he said, the guy's going to help me get the title. Well, I parked it in my garage. After 6 months or a year, I got thinking about it, and I thought, I'm going to call this guy. And he was always out of town in New York, couldn't get a hold of him. Finally, I told the lady, I'm going to call you every 5 minutes till I talk to a guy that owned a 1968 Road Runner. It wasn't 5 minutes later, I got a call back. He says, his exact words, do you have my baby doll? What do you want for it? It was the owner of this car back in the day that raced it in 1987. And I said, well, I don't know. I says, we talked about price. I said, well, can I drive it for a couple weeks? He said, yeah, go ahead. I want that car, with or without a title. Well, after driving it, cleaning it up, if you look on the inside of the car, you see it's got the rubber floor mats, and it was a registration card, 2 people in New York. So back in those days, you could call information and get a phone number, and I did that, and sure enough, the guy that owned the car, or by that name, lived in that house in New York. And he told me the story that when he was graduated from high school, his grandma told anybody graduated from high school out of their family would get a free car of their choice. He said, I got that when I graduated from high school and went to Vietnam 6 months later. And set in my grandma's garage, and one of my classmates bought it and sold it to this other guy in New York. But in the meantime, he got in trouble and went to prison, so that guy never got a title. And he says, I'll help you get a title. So it took us about 6 months, but we got a clear title for the Road Runner.
Beautiful.
From the first owner, basically. So it was one of those things that came true. It usually can turn out bad, but
This one worked out the right way.
this worked out the right way with some nice people that helped me out, get it all back into, this is the way it is, 7,000 miles. It's never been touched inside. It's original rubber mats, original seats, original old seat belts. Look at the date on the seat belts, 1968. It's just, it's just the way it was back in the dealership back in the day. But,
The wood steering wheel.
yep.
Let's take a look at the
The only thing it's
dash.
got is a tachometer. Look at this. Look at the miles on there. That is not 107,000. That is 7,700. When I purchased it, had right at a little less than 7,000 on it. But I have taken drag racing for fun a couple times. It's really a blast to drive. It turns in in the mid 11s, which is pretty good for that back in the day.
For a factory car.
Yeah, it weighs a lot, but. Yeah, the sticker here from the factory, all that stuff is all original. Nothing's been
And
taken
there's
off.
the factory tag. Beautiful. Let's take a look. We're going to do 2 things. Usually, I don't necessarily start it, but we're going to take a look under the hood, and then we're going to start it so you can hear. So
sure.
you can hear a Hemi.
Yep,
Or maybe we should start it first before we pop the hood,
I can do that.
just so we can get that sound. That just sounds like some horsepower.
Back in the day, we had gasoline that run much better than today's gas too. And we used lead for a coolant, which today we don't have. So we're running different level. This is where the engine would have came with the chrome air cleaner, the black valve covers. There's no power steering, of course, no power brakes. Like I say, only option I had was the engine and the tachometer. And the young man that bought the car put the first 6,000 miles on for it, went to service, had a blast in it. And bottom line is, it shows that when he graduated, he got this car. The only one out of his family that did graduate, I found out, because I asked him how come he moved from California, where he went after service, back to New York. He said, well, I'm the only one that graduated. My grandma gave me the house also.
Wow.
So it's kind of a neat story. It really is.
Yeah, that is great. And that's what my car stories are about, those stories. There we go, 426 Hemi heads. Let's shut the hood.
Okay.
John, stand with your car.
Oh, okay, that's the way I've got it. I haven't taken it apart. Engine, transmission, nothing. We raced it, put it away, ready to go racing again the next day. That's just like a Viper, basically.
That's awesome. John, thanks for being on My
Thank
Car
you.
Story.
Yep, glad you can make it out.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.